You and I having done what we call inverted commas, it is important that we look at the application of the inverted commas, and the greatest part of that, or the greatest application of the inverted commas, is the use of direct speech. Direct speech is when we report the exact words that somebody says. Direct speech. Direct speech refers to when we report the exact words as said by the speaker. The speech that is said by the speaker, that is what we refer. When you say it exactly the way the speaker says it, that is what we call direct speech. Now, for example, if you look at this, he said, let's go to the cinema. He said, let's go to the cinema. He said, let's go to the cinema. It is not you who said, let's go to the cinema. It is the he who said, let's go to the cinema. These words, let's go to the cinema, are not your words. They are the words of he who said, he. It can be Tom, it can be John, it can be Hassan, it can be Abdi. Abdi said, let's go to the cinema. So when you are reporting that way, we use the inverted commas. This is the opening and this is the closing inverted commas. So as we do that, we present this work exactly the way it was said by the speaker, who could probably be John, it can probably be Samuel, it can also be Abdi or Hassan. Direct speech. Direct speech is when we report the exact words that somebody says. I think that is important. When we report, we have what we call the reporting clause. The reporting clause coming before the direct speech. The reporting clause coming before, this is the reporting clause, he said. Reporting clause. The direct speech. So if the reporting clause comes before the direct speech, what happens? The reporting clause of the direct speech is the short clause that indicates who is talking. That I have already said. So what happens when we write the reporting clause before or after the direct speech? What happens? If the reporting clause is before the direct speech, we write it as follows. Reporting clause, he said. Followed by a comma. He said, comma. Then move. Open the inverted commas. Start with the capital letter. Let's go to the cinema. End with the period here, full stop. And then close the inverted commas. Let me repeat. The reporting clause coming before the direct speech. He said, this is the reporting clause. Place a comma immediately after the reporting clause. Open the opening inverted commas. Start your sentence with a capital letter. Write the sentence That is the direct speech. Place your full stop. After that, at a different perpendicular, place the closing inverted commas, and that is it. What is the grammar rule there? If reporting clause is before the direct speech, grammar rule 1, we write a comma before the direct speech. 2, we write the exact words inside the inverted commas. We write the exact words inside the inverted commas. 3, the first letter is a capital letter. You know, these rules appear like they are very minute, that they are very small, they are less important. But the moment you neglect them, you flout the rules of direct speech, and therefore it is grammatically wrong. Most of us emphasize on speech, but it's important for you, especially you year 9 students, to understand that what you say is not important. It's only important in social life. What you write is more important in your academics. Finally, we write a full stop before we can close with the inverted commas. Like this. He asked, comma, do you want a cake? He asked, comma, open, do, capital D, you want a cake? Question mark, close. Or, he shouted, comma, open, capital H, hurry up, exclamation, close. So whatever punctuation mark is coming at the end here, whatever punctuation mark is coming at the end here, it must be within the inverted commas. The inverted commas must come at the end, and they should not be at the same perpendicular. What I mean here is that you cannot place the exclamation mark directly below the inverted commas. What about if the reporting case or the reporting clause is before a question or exclamation? The reporting, this is the reporting what? Clause. If the reporting clause is before a question or exclamation, we write a question mark before the closing inverted commas that I've said. Reporting clause after the direct speech. The reporting clause after the direct speech. Remember what we've already done is the reporting clause before the direct speech. Here now we have reporting clause after the direct speech. 1. We write a comma before the closing inverted commas. I shall show you that. We write a full stop at the end of the reporting clause, not after. You see, at the end means after. At the end of the reporting clause. Now, after the reporting clause, you put your words. But you see, write a comma before the closing inverted commas. This way. Reporting clause after a question. Reporting clause after a question. Do you want a cake? Remember, this reporting clause was here in the previous example. This reporting clause was beginning here. Now we have reporting clause after the question. Do you have, or do you want a cake? Do, capital. But start with opening. Do, capital. End, question mark. This is a question, so question mark. Close. Start with with a small letter. Why? The sentence is not complete. This is midway. He asked, then put your full stop. Remember, the question mark has to be inside the inverted commas. These are basic rules, but we ignore them, it will be to our detriment. What about the reporting clause after an exclamation? The same thing happens. Do you want a cake? Okay, or hurry up. Then the exclamation. After the exclamation, you close. This way. Reporting clause after an exclamation. Hurry up. First letter, capital. Open. Put the exclamation. Close. Start them next with a small letter. And then end that sentence with, or the reporting clause at the end, full stop. Remember, the exclamation mark is coming before the closing inverted commas. How? Write an exclamation mark before the closing inverted commas. 2. We write a full stop at the end of the reporting clause. Now, there are times when we are needed to break up the direct speech into 2. That should be our next part. See you then.